I got involved in January 2016. I worked for about 30 years with refugees in various ways, and I wasn't doing anything at the time, and the situation is always getting worse, but it was particularly getting worse around then, and I thought I really need to be doing something. So I looked online to see what there was and found Haringey Welcome and turned up on Lucy's doorstep one day. I wanted to do something local. I've lived here for 17 years now, so I feel very much part of this community, and I've done voluntary work with migrants and refugees in this area, so I knew there were lots of issues here. I didn't know if it was going to feel right when I turned up at the first meeting, but it did. I like it enormously as a group to be part of. All sorts of things can go wrong in campaigning groups, as everybody knows, and actually this one, to my knowledge, has never had great personality clashes and theological arguments about direction and so on. We get on with it. So it feels very good for that. But also, I mean, I'm tremendously proud of it because I think we've been effective. Before we were working on the hostile environment, we were working to get the council to accept Syrian refugee families through the government scheme. And we got no, absolutely no all the time. And after, I think it was 14 months, and we had got a petition to the council, they said, oh yes, we're going to accept 10 families. Now, that's probably not only us, I'm not completely kind of arrogant about it, but we had an impact. And I think politics is so dire across the world at the moment that one needs things where you feel you can make a difference. And that feels very important. It feels like an antidote to the depression of all the global politics. Well, it's two kinds of things. One is working with the council, which included before the elections in May, to get councillors to sign up to saying, or would-be councillors to sign up to say yes, they wanted Haringey to stay a welcoming place because it has that reputation from the past. And that since then we've met with them again to try and keep them to it, and we're going to work with them, we hope, on devising an integration and welcome strategy, which will be something to measure council services against. So that's one bit of it. The other bit is various bits of awareness raising within the community. The thing that I have been involved in is poetry. I'm a writer, a poetry competition for schools. So we wrote round to all the primary schools. We got 5 primary schools involved in the Year 6 children writing poems about welcome and what that meant. And we got a couple of well-known poets to judge the competition. We had a prize giving, and we published all the poems, 100 and something poems, in an anthology. All the children got a copy, the schools got copies, and that's actually a really simple way of getting some ideas about welcoming out. So that's one thing, and we're doing it again this year. One of our members went to a lot of school fetes in the summer, and with a campaign called Feed My Friend, to persuade the council to provide free school meals for children of families where the parents have no recourse to public funds. So those families are very, very poor. They get very limited assistance from the council, and the children aren't entitled to free school meals. And so we were getting children to draw their favourite meal on a postcard and then send the postcard saying, please feed my friend, to the local councillor. So that kind of thing, which actually I love, just that local engagement. And I don't think anything works if you only work with elected officials. You've got to have it coming from the grassroots as well. you know, the place where you live ought to feel as friendly as you want it to be. You don't have to chat to everybody in the street all day long. It ought to feel comfortable. It ought to be somewhere where you can relax. And for people affected by hostile environment stuff, it clearly isn't any of those things. In the immediate term, I think we're going to be heavily involved with councillors in drafting an integration and welcoming strategy, and having done that, we're probably going to be involved in monitoring what impact that has. And you know, we've said that we'll provide staff training where necessary, briefings and so on, so I think that will be part of it. We're in touch with some of the Syrian families who came, and we've got an event coming up next March, and they'll certainly be invited, and if they want to speak, fine. But I think one doesn't want to put pressure on people to feel that they have to be emblematic of something that's happening. And because that's one reason why we're reaching out to other places like the Children's Centre or a local charity called Caris. We don't do casework. We're not day-to-day in touch with people, and a lot of people who are affected by these things don't have the mental space to start thinking about campaigning as well. I mean, some might want to. So I think it would be great. I think we don't want to push people. We are increasingly making it clear that we'd like it if people wanted to be involved.